welcome back to Sasha Theory and Happy Black History Month. Today we have Mr. Bob Johnson. He's the founder of Juneteenth Atlanta.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing? How are you today?
Pretty good.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
So first, can you tell us what is Juneteenth?
So Juneteenth represents June the 19th, 1865, a historical event that occurred in Galveston, Texas. What's significant about it is if we go back through our history and recognize the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was in 1863. And the Emancipation Proclamation, which was also in 1863. We'll just use 1863 because it was a process, but we can use that year as when these things developed and went through the process. So that was the end of slavery, right? For some. And the news of the freedom, the independence, took different people got the information at different times. So what Juneteenth represents is when the last of our people got that information, and it was 2.5 years later. So 2.5 years is a long time to still be up under a condition that was over with. So that's really significant. So, you can imagine that I'm sure it was rumored, so you were hearing about it, but you wasn't seeing it. So it was like, is this real? Is this really happening? Because you can just imagine yourself being enslaved and wanting freedom from that condition and having a possibility that was going on, but you really didn't know about it. And then all of a sudden you found out that, that's what it is. And that turned into a huge celebration by the people when they actually found out on June the 19th that the slavery was over and they were actually free, so that they could just up and leave. A lot of people migrated west towards New Mexico and Arizona and California, and so did Juneteenth. That celebration continued with the people who were, making their way and moving around. And so now Juneteenth is pretty much across the country. It's in, I'm a part of the Juneteenth, the National Juneteenth Association, and there's at least somewhere around 30, or so, probably even more, larger Juneteenth events around the country every year. So, yeah.
When I was talking to you, remember about the 400 years? Can you tell the audience about that?
Okay. So, I remember when we were talking over the phone, and it's important for people to know history. History is very important. So we're talking about Juneteenth, which is all a part of the quadricentennial that we're experiencing right now. So I know a lot of people are like, quadricentennial, what is that? Because that's not a word that we use a lot because it doesn't come around. Matter of fact, it's a once in a lifetime. We'll never see another quadricentennial. That'll be for our future generations. So what a quadricentennial is, it equals 400 years. So right now, 2019, if we go back to 1619, 1619 is when the first Africans were brought to Virginia as slaves, as being enslaved. Now, of course, we know in our history that we've been everywhere. There's nowhere where our feet haven't touched. We were the first to touch ground pretty much any place that you can name. Any place you can name, we were there first. So, but in this experience, it has to do with being enslaved as a result of the Atlantic slave trade, which basically brought 20 enslaved Africans to Virginia. And that was in 1619. So that's 400 years that we've been going through this experience that still exists in a lot of ways today, because as long as you're dealing with oppression of any kind, we can see our people being helpless, hopeless, and homeless. We can see police brutality, and we can still see racism from some of our highest offices. And it's incredible that after 4 centuries that we can still see these aftermaths that come from just the history of being enslaved, going through that process of emancipation, even though I would like to say that no one can really make you a slave or free you, because you're, basically that's something that is in your own mind and under your own control. Now, someone can restrain you, but your freedom is in your heart. And our people were always free, and they were never slaves. They were enslaved, and there's a big difference, So with the 400 years, what's significant about that is we are I like to use this word royal, resilient. I mean, just all of the words that we can come up with that describe a miraculous people. We're just, and for us to have survived, let me put it like this, 400-year acknowledgement. So what we're acknowledging is surviving 400 years of the worst conditions ever inflicted on people in history. And look at you, you're here doing your interviews, you're going to school, you're studying for, what you're gonna do in life, and you're gonna do some great things. And you can look all around, our people, Barack Obama was just president of the United States. John Lewis is a congressman here. We have Keisha Lance Bottoms is the mayor. We have people in prominent places. You look at sports, we dominate, in that, we set trends. People follow our culture and try and make it their own. So after 400 years of surviving the worst conditions inflicted upon the people in history, and we're doing all of that, so who are we? So really, more than it just being a 400-year quadricentennial of African American history, I mean, it just shows how great we are as people and what we have to be proud of. Yeah.
I feel like, because whenever, when they try to act like us, I'm like, dang, you try to put us in slavery, but still trying to be like us in all these certain type of ways.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just envy. And that's probably why they put us in slavery, because they envy us so much, and then they didn't like what we was becoming, and they had to try to put it down.
So I saw a post the other day, and it said that when those people went to the countries of Africa and they brought back slaves, they didn't bring back slaves. They brought back engineers, they brought back architects, they brought back horticulture. No, what's gardening? What is that? Is that horticulture? No, that's food. So agriculture. They brought back farmers. They brought back people who had skills. These people built this country. The economy of this country was built off the backs of our people. Like a lot of these inventions that, even the traffic light, which controls traffic to this day. I mean, our ancestors were responsible for that invention. And so many other things we can talk about. So you mentioned Black History Month. 30 days, 30 years. I mean, there's not enough time to really discuss all of the contributions and achievements that have occurred.
We can in school. We're gonna do that in our history class.
Oh,
Middle school,
oh, yeah.
earth seeds. We're gonna talk about all that.
Well, you're gonna have gray hair like me and be in a rocking chair by the time y'all discuss all of our history. It's continuous. It's so much. It's just so much history. Yeah. So it's just really, everyone should know, number one, about our history. You know, there's when you know about Cinco de Mayo, and a lot of people don't even really know about Cinco de Mayo. You know, Cinco de Mayo has to do with us too, Ethiopia. And when you know about St. Patrick's Day, because you see people wearing green, right? And when you know about the 4th of July, which occurred in 1776, right? Let me see, 1776 to 1863, 1865. It's like 89 more years of being enslaved. So 4th of July has nothing to do with us. They were having the 4th of July while we were shackled picking cotton from sun up to sundown, being whipped. And I don't really even want to go into all of that cruel, inhumane negativity. But we know, you know, and I guess you almost have to go through it though, because a lot of people don't know, like your age group. Do you all know
We know some. We know
what our people been through?
only some. They don't show everything.
Yeah, it's been a lot. I mean, for you to be here, had to do with a lot of sacrifices of a lot of people, including the people who are closest to you now. And, you know, like your mother, you know, so on and so forth. Your relatives, your great-grands, your great-great-grands, those ones that we don't know, we know and don't know. In order for you to be here doing what you're doing today, all you young people, all of what you are benefiting is off the backs and the sacrifices and the determination of those who came before you. And we owe a debt to them to be the best we can do, be the best we can be.
Show them is more to what they was used to and what they got taught.
Or else that's all in vain.
Yeah.
That was for no reason. And you're the reason, you know, and your peers.
Okay, next question is, how do you define success?
Well, success, how do I define success? Completing what you set out to do. I mean, success can be really big, or success can just be big to you and maybe not so big to other people. Success is what you feel in your heart, you know, when you accomplish things. You know, it's just being truthful with yourself. That and there's all kind of levels of success. There's success in failure. There's success in everything, you know, because if you attempt to do something and you didn't quite, you know, reach the mark, you know, there's a lot of things that we can look at that were successful even through that process, and now you know where your mistakes are, so you can do it again and reach your mark. So success is just being honest with yourself and keep on pushing with whatever it is you do. Like Curtis Mayfield said, you know, Curtis Mayfield. I know everybody know who Curtis Mayfield is now. That's some more history.
I don't know who Curtis Mayfield
You don't know, and you live in Georgia.
No.
Curtis Mayfield is one of the best artists, performers that we have known. I mean, he was brilliant songwriter, a brilliant songwriter and singer. He had a group called, let me see, what's Curtis Mayfield? I can't even remember. Oh yeah, well yeah, he has all kinds of music. He did music, soundtracks for movies, and the quote that I just used, "Keep on pushing," that was one of his songs. You're a winner, and don't let anyone say that you can't make it, because the evil mind is in your way. You know, you got to keep on pushing, like your leaders tell you to. So Curtis Mayfield, from right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Matter of fact, he had a recording studio here, and he passed maybe almost a decade or so, a couple of decades. His last album was New World Order. If you have ever seen some of the older movies like Superfly,
Yes, he just did it.
that's all Curtis Mayfield's music.
Soundtrack.
Yeah, Curtis Mayfield's music. But his music is very inspirational. And that's what music should be. It should be inspirational. So anyone who doesn't know Curtis Mayfield that lives in Georgia, shame on you. Go on and Google that up, and let's get with Curtis. And Curtis is just one example of hundreds of artists who put that inspiration and that motivation and helped us to strive for success. Yeah.
Well, how do you generate new ideas for this new anything?
So I don't know. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how you do it. I think it just comes from your experiences and your thoughts, things that you want to achieve, lead you in different directions. I think that you need to open your mind up and believe, you know.
When some people get like stuck in their mind, like what's some good advice for them?
Just to let it go, you know. Maybe go for a jog, do some yoga, meditate, and I don't do a lot of those things that I'm saying, but I think things like that, you know, when you get in tune with yourself, then it probably opens up, you know, it opens you up to your creativity, you know, not worrying about things, definitely working on your attitude, your personality, and your character. That helps, because if you're always being distracted with some sort of, you know, situations or drama or something like that, it's hard for you to be creative and think and flow. So you just got to stay on your square, you know, kind of figure out what it is that you want to do, like what you're doing. You kind of know what you want to do, and you're doing it. So with you focusing on that and concentrating on it, each time you do something, you're probably going to reflect on it. And then you're gonna think of ways to improve. Yeah. So it's just a natural thing that happens, but you gotta open up. And if you're not doing that, it's probably because you have a lot of drama going on around you, a lot of distractions, and you're not being able to free yourself up from that.
What was your greatest failure and how did it teach you?
I'm not gonna share that.
Okay.
My greatest failure? I think my greatest failure was not going to Africa by now. I think that we all should go to Africa. We all should have visited Africa. I mean, and I seriously, that's the answer to your question, because, you know, I've been, you know, my time here and the places I've been to Alaska. I was born in Tokyo, Japan. I lived in Panama, so I've traveled, but I never, you know, until recently in my life, I never thought about visiting Africa.
You know, plan a trip, we can go. My sister just went.
I'm planning on going in August.
In August?
Or somewhere around, after our next event that is coming up in June. I'm really seriously making my way to Africa, and what was the last question you asked me about? How do you stay?
How do you generate your new ideas?
Okay, so Africa is causing me to have just like a flow of ideas, because of the passion that I have for wanting to visit Africa and thinking how important that is for our people. So that's been included in the whole event now. So that kind of answers your question. You know, things you want to do in places that you may want to go, or it creates ideas, because I now have to figure out how to get there and what that's all about. And also why, and once you know the why, and everything else becomes a little easier. I know why I want to go to Africa, and even though all of my life, Africa has been that place not to go to, that uncivilized, undeveloped, poverty-stricken, place that you really don't want to go to, because it's probably going to be some sort of a problem.
Is somebody going to kill?
Something's going to happen.
You're
going to get bit. You're going to get attacked.
Tiger's going to get you next
Yeah,
time.
elephant going to throw you up against a tree, and the mosquitoes going to chase you off the cliff, and you can be swimming down the waterfall and land in all that quicksand, and Tarzan might be swinging, all that stuff, it's crazy. So it's like, I don't want to go to Africa, but really everybody else is going to Africa. The Russian people are in Africa. The Chinese people are in Africa. You name the people, they in Africa. And Africa is one of the richest land masses that we have. Everything is there. And the only thing that's not there is us, African Americans. So, we have an obligation, really, by our ancestors. I was watching Amistad. Are you familiar with that movie? I gotta give her homework. You're gonna have to watch Amistad tonight.
How you spell it?
Amistad, something like that. Yeah, that's the name of a ship. And it's about some of the things that we're discussing now. And I've watched it for the last 3 nights. I've probably seen it 20 times.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna move you, in a lot of different directions. And but Africa is something that we all want to put on our planning calendar to go to Africa.
Okay. What is one thing that you want the world to learn from you?
To learn from me, I guess everything that I'm learning from others. I think that we all need to thirst for seriously, our history is so important and we don't know it. Just like we were talking about how people may know about St. Patrick's Day or the 4th of July that has nothing to do with us, but we don't know about things like Juneteenth as much. So I think just knowing what has happened before us, so it's just like a tree having roots. Our history is our connection to our past. And if we don't have roots, just like if a tree, if you severed all the roots from a tree, what would happen to the tree? It would die.
And if you don't know your history,
Yeah.
you don't know
Yeah.
every piece of stuff.
If you are removed from your history, then you're limited. You're limited in a lot of the questions you had asked. Like, I think really, now that we're on the subject, history is a motivator. History is inspiration. History is helps you create your innovative, process of coming up with new ideas and things of that nature. It comes from the more knowledgeable you are of your history, the more creative you can be in your present.
Being honest.
So history, just learning, like you're doing now, going to school, getting your education, get as much education as you can, but make sure that that education includes your history and who you are, where you come from, and what's going on right now today in Africa, in the diaspora, at your school, all of those things, and connect them together. And nothing but creativity is gonna come out of that.
What are great candidates
For Juneteenth, like volunteers and people who can get involved and participate. Okay, so first of all, what is Juneteenth? We covered that. So what is Juneteenth Atlanta? Because that's our event. And the full name of the event is Juneteenth Atlanta Parade and Music Festival. Juneteenth Atlanta is a nonprofit 501c3 organization, community improvement organization. And we offer a 3-day music festival, Black History, 3-day Black History Music Festival, as well as a parade. And our goal for the parade is to build the largest parade in the country, and it be all about our history. Are you familiar with Macy's Day Parade?
Yes.
Imagine that all about Black history.
You said everything, so you look for volunteers.
I asked you that before, right? So, in regards to volunteers, we have so many different things that we do within the 3-day festival. We do like an Afro hair fashion show. Because hair, that's one of the things that we lost as far as, being here and being oppressed and the standards of beauty that's always pushed in our face. So we try and reflect, our own natural beauty. And then for young women, what we want our girls to know, and our, which our seniors already know, that what is beauty anyway, So beauty is not really the way you look. Because if that's what beauty is, then it can change all the time, right?
Yeah.
So beauty is really, a blind person can see beauty. So you don't have to have eyes to experience beauty. Beauty is your character, your personality, and the way that you interact with other people. If you can put a smile on my face, I'm going to say you're beautiful. If you make me feel good and happy and carefree, like we can have a good time just by having a conversation, then you're beautiful. No matter how you look, you can have on everything that's so-called glamorous, and that personality and that character is not in line, and a person will want to get away from you quick. Because it's like, ooh, so I don't even know how we got on that. How did we get on that? Did I go past your question?
It's okay. It's okay. All right. So who would be some great vendors for you?
Vendors. Oh, well. Now let me say this, not to offend anyone, but Black-owned businesses. Our African market, let's call it African market, is that we want to give a platform to Black-owned businesses, and we really want to help to bring an audience to them so that people can know, because some of the vendors may not have brick and mortar of businesses, so they, basically you're going to catch them at shows, but they're great businesses. So I would say Black-owned businesses. However, Juneteenth Atlanta does not discriminate, unless there's something really, really off about a certain situation. So, we don't have any policies in place that says that you have to be a Black-owned business, because that would be a form of discrimination. So our marketing and our event is about Black history. It's about our history. And so, of course, we want our vendors to reflect that. So art is a big area where we really want to create, a non-limited artist market where we can have artists who bring just art that has to do with our existence over the last 400 years. That would really be outstanding. Artists. And so our obligation to artists is that we'll spend our time throughout the year seeking art lovers, people who would want to purchase your art. So we don't just want to create an artist market, we want to create art lovers, who can come and actually purchase your art, so that's the other side of that. Artists, arts and crafts, businesses, people who have information and resources, organizations. We want people who come to the event to be able to leave with something, and something that they didn't know before they came. And then, so that's a lot of different organizations. We would like for all of the people in our community who are actually stating that they're providing a service, well, come and let us know that at the event. We would like to see the NAACP, we would like to see the Urban League, we would like to see the 100 Black men, the 100 Black women. We would like to see HBCU representation. We would like to athletes, pretty much everything, anything that has to do with us that is of interest to the public. I think, our door, our calling is for those type of people to come and be vendors. So we have nonprofit, if you're a nonprofit organization, you can set up. And then a lot of, you might, like there is groups that are maybe protesting injustices that are going on. Say, mothers, mothers against violence, things of that nature. Those are vendors that we want, at the event, because again, that's information, and people can ask questions, and people can get engaged.
Yeah, be more real what's going on.
Yeah, people can get engaged in support, what their needs are and know about, what their
Because the big
challenges
old
are.
event is just like telling people it's another way for us to network with each other and just being better.
That's
support
right.
each other.
That's right, networking. And so really we don't limit, who our vendors are. Food, we like multicultural cuisines like Ethiopian, raw, vegan, African food, and food that's healthy, that has more of, because people are getting more health conscious today. So, so we have the food category, and pretty much products like for your body, skin, and hair, and things of that nature. And then, we noticed that a lot of our brothers and sisters are starting to manufacture their own products, whether it be toothpaste or laundry detergent, shoes. I know a group of people who are making their own shoes, and we definitely want those sort of vendors at the event.
So all this great positivity that you're going on, what are some challenges that you face?
So being a nonprofit organization and trying to do an event on the level that we're doing it, because we really don't want to just do something, that you just come to and you leave and, pretty much forget about it. We want this to be a memorable experience that actually offers benefits, to the attendees and the people who come. So, we have a pretty large budget to live up to as far as producing the event. And I really didn't tell you a lot about the event. Like, we do a fireworks show, because we don't want anything outdoing, our commemoration of our ancestors. So anything that you see anywhere, we can do it bigger and better. And that's our debt. That's an obligation I feel like I have. If we're gonna do it, let's blow it all the way out.
Why not?
So, we have, we would like to bring in major artists and do big stages and just have just everything out there, especially for the children. We want children to come to this event and have it be life altering, something that they never forget. All their days, they always remember going to Juneteenth. And we want it to be something like for the children that they want to be like,
Let's take my children.
can we go to Juneteenth today? Like every day, like, all throughout every weekend they want to go to Juneteenth. That's like, well, they only do that like once a year, but they just all throughout the year, they're just waiting for that, like they got us on the Christmas thing, The little kids are always waiting for Christmas because they want some presents or whatever. So we want Juneteenth to be that, but we want the presents to be, seeing our people in a positive light, seeing our people loving each other, seeing our people interacting with each other and lifting each other up. We want them to be right in the center of that and just taking it all in so they grow in that.
Yeah, like black people don't gotta be against each other. We can all feel love and network.
And those are the challenges. Getting our people to understand that it's not always about money. And my biggest challenge is I'm trying to get a lot of our different organizations and groups, and we mentioned something about dance. That's one of the areas that, how can we have a Black History Parade that does not represent African dance, drum and dance? So I'm in the process of actually recruiting drum and dance teams from Africa, and from the diaspora as well, and all across the country. But what's interesting is we have an outstanding African drum and dance community right here in Atlanta. And some people know about it, and a lot of people don't. But a lot more people would know about it if we could get them to come out and participate and understanding that this is like our 4th of July. So this isn't necessary that, event that is paid for, and that's one of the challenges that we run into when we seek participation, from different collectives. We run into well, how much you gonna pay me, and this is a celebration, a celebration, a commemoration, a coming together of the people. We don't have that, that's free to the public, 100% free. You don't have to pay to come to Juneteenth Atlanta. We have a lot of big, great events, they're big. And a ticket might be $50 or $100. So who does that affect? Who can't come to that? A lot of people will not be able to participate. If you're living over there, and well, let's just say, I'm not gonna name any areas, but say if you live in a certain area, or all of your neighbors, are depending on MARTA, living in apartments, let's just be real, we have a lot of situations out here, so-called single parent families and all of these types of things, and children, family, households, some are really struggling just to make ends meet. Now here we come with an event and it's 150, 30, 20, I don't care what it is. If you got 4 or 5 children that are teenage or a little younger, somebody's not gonna be able to go to this event because of the money situation. So that's why I like, Juneteenth Atlanta can be nothing but a nonprofit, and it's free to the public. No matter how big the event gets, it's free to the public. I've had all kinds of people want me to, you should just charge $10, or you should do this, or you should do that. But we really haven't gotten to our target market, which is the people who feel helpless, hopeless, and in some cases are homeless.
Yeah.
So that's the big challenge, is to get people to come in and participate in the parade. It's only one day, it's only a couple of hours, and it's a great event that you can come out to, and we really need our African drum and dance community to get involved because they have so much energy. They tell stories through dance, and we have had that participation, but it's on a small level. It needs to be huge. You need to see the parade coming up the street, and every person that knows an African move or can hit a lick, that should be all over the streets for that one day. It's not gonna make or break you. So that's one of the callings. The challenges is to get our HBCUs involved and get some, like our community leaders. Like we would love to see Congressman John Lewis, get involved. We would love to see the mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, get involved and deem Juneteenth Atlanta as being the official Juneteenth event for the city of Atlanta. I think that has already happened with the people because they come out. We've been doing it for 7 years and the audiences get bigger and bigger each year. And that's without having any, like what you're doing will help.
Just like show more people like, hey, we're here.
Yeah, because we haven't really had the budget to do radio, to do commercials, and just have stuff all over the city. It's just mostly word of mouth and just talking to people and grassroots, So, but yet still, we started out with 50 people, in our first event. In our last event, we probably had at least 4,500 people who came through there. And that information came to me from someone who we want to give a lot of appreciation to, and that would be Major Adcock of the Ted Jackson's Sheriff team. He runs the auxiliary sheriff's department, and they come out and they help us with the logistics as far as traffic control and things of that nature for the parade. And if not for them, we wouldn't be able to have the parade because we can't afford to pay, like a collection of law enforcement officers, to come out and man the streets during the time that we have the parade. So those are challenges. So when people want to charge you to participate in a parade, because really it's just the opposite. Parades charge in order for you to participate, but not for profit. This is just to put the event on for the public, for the babies, for the children. So we all do our things. I drive left. So I do that to make money, and I do other things to make money. But when it comes to Juneteenth, those are contributions. I'm volunteering. The work I do, I work every day on Juneteenth. Maybe not every single day, but I put a lot of work in. I don't get paid for that.
Yeah.
So when I go and ask people to volunteer or to participate, I'm not asking them to do something that I wouldn't do.
Thank you so much for watching Sasha Theory. And don't forget to contact Bob at...
Okay, so you can contact us by phone, which is 404-753-4555. That's not a text number, that's actually an office number. And you can contact us by email, which is juneteenatl.com. And we're on IG, old school, but I know that's Instagram. And that's Juneteenth ATL. Twitter is also Juneteenth ATL. And Facebook is where we get the most attention so far, and that's going to be Juneteenth Atlanta Parade and Music Festival. And so those are all of the ways that you can contact us.
And I would like to thank you for doing this and being a part of starting this big operation, because a lot of people didn't know, and without you, we didn't know, and it would help us grow. So thank you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, you know what? That right there is why we do it, because it's because of you. And really, demographic wise, and you probably don't hear this very much, but Juneteenth is from the first breath to the last breath. That's our demographic. All of our people. No exclusions. It's all inclusive. It's for all, from our babies to our great elders. For us to come together and love each other and appreciate each other and respect each other and respect ourselves, So, I tend to get long-winded, but you just really, I appreciate that. Coming from your generation especially.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And this will not be the last interview with Mr. Bob Johnson. Thank you.